Today I'm creating some cute gingerbread DIYs for a festive tiered tray. Today's playlist is hosted by DIY with Aria, Lowly D's Creations, and Crafting with JC. Be sure and check out their channels in the description box below along with the playlist. For this project, I'm using 2 of these snowflake ornaments from Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by using this plastic wood to fill in those holes and to let it dry and then sand them down. I'm going to be painting these 2 pieces and this wood round that I also got from Dollar Tree. It's a wood chip piece, but it's round, and I'm painting it with Folk Arts cinnamon paint. In my opinion, this cinnamon paint is the perfect gingerbread color. Using some wood glue, I'm going to glue this round piece in the middle of both of the snowflakes. I want this piece to be able to stand up, so that's why I'm adding that piece in there. You do want to make sure that it is even so the piece will stand up straight. Now I'm going to decorate my little gingerbread snowflake with some white puff paint. I'll show you the final reveal at the end of the video, so be sure and stay tuned. This piece is from Dollar Tree, and I tried pulling the paper off and it was going to be too much trouble. I'm just going to paint over it, but I am using Waverly chalk paint in plaster. This is some of Roy Cycle's decoupage paper that was in Sonnet's Maker's Box, and I'm going to be using that to decoupage onto the cup. I cut my piece to size, or actually a little bit larger, and I'm using DIY's liquid patina to decoupage my paper on, putting a good starter strip, and then adding that liquid patina over the top as well. Now that it's dry, I'm going to go back and cut off the excess paper, and I'm going to sand around the sides that I can, and then I'll use that little emery board for in between the handle there because it fits in there nicely. And you can get a big pack of these at Dollar Tree and they'll last for quite a while. I had this little corrugated piece of cardboard that I want to add across the front of the cup, and I'm just tracing between that handle so I know exactly where to cut it. I also decided it needed something else, so I'm going to use this little strip of music, and I'm going to tear that so that it has rough edges all the way around. I found some of these straws from Dollar Tree in my stash, and I'm going to be cutting those to fit onto the straws that are on the piece, and I'm cutting them in half, and I'm trying to avoid having that teal color. So this side is just black, brown, and white, and then this other part of the straw I'm going to use so that I can do the same thing. Then I'm going to be using some more of that puff paint, and I'm just going to fill in the whipped cream at the top. Once all of that is filled in, I'm going to add some of these little sprinkles. They're actually from the jewelry section at Hobby Lobby, and I'm using some of the gingerbread cutouts. There's gingerbread men and there's little gingerbread houses. placing those with tweezers and then just kind of pushing them down into the puff paint so they won't fall off. Now I'm adding some homemade sprinkles that I made out of polymer clay, and I'm just adding colors that match nicely with the plaid. And then I'm adding some of these little diamond art beads. They are from Hobby Lobby as well. And again, just making sure those are down into that puff paint to dry. Now using hot glue, I'll glue on my front two pieces. Once I hot glue the straws on, this project is complete. And I have to say, I kind of surprised myself on how cute this turned out. Project number 3, I'm going to be making some gingerbread men. I'm using this corduroy skirt that I thrifted a couple of years ago. I had already used it for another project as well. I printed out a template to make a pattern, and I cut 2 pieces of both the corduroy skirt and then this sweater that was a sweater I wasn't wearing anymore. And I'm going to just trace around that and cut out the pattern, 2 pieces in each fabric. I'm also going to cut out a heart from each fabric. You could sew this on your sewing machine, you could use hot glue, but I chose to do a hand stitch all the way around each of the gingerbread men in opposite colors. So around this one I used the cream colored thread, and around the other one I used the darker brown colored thread. Now for this I was using a yarn needle. You really need something sharper than that. At least for the corduroy it worked fine on the sweater fabric. But for this I'm just doing a simple stitch around the edges. Once I got about 3/4 of the way around in my stitching, I did use some polyfill to stuff each one of these, and I'm just showing here as I am closing it up. I used one of the seams from the corduroy to make a scarf for the white gingerbread, and then I used part of the cuff from the sweater to make a scarf for the dark colored gingerbread. I'm just going to cut those to size, and I'm going to hot glue those in place. I'm also going to hot glue a button onto the scarf and the heart onto the body. Before I glue on the button, I decided to make some little tags. These are little cedar chips that I got somewhere, I don't even know where. And on one, I stamped the word sugar, and on the other one, I stamped the word spice. I'm going to punch a hole into these, and I will attach these to the scarf as well. I can't wait for you to see how these turned out. This fabric is from Walmart. It's one of their quilting fat quarters, and I just cut it to the size that I wanted my bag to be. And this is no sew. You certainly could sew it, but I just wasn't in the mood. So I'm using hot glue, and I have 2 rows of hot glue there, and I'm doing that on purpose because I want there to be kind of a ruffle at the top, and I'm going to feed through a cord so that I can cinch it up. Now I'm also hot gluing down the sides, and of course not on the top. Now I'm going to use this cord and a safety pin, and I'm going to feed it through both sides of the bag so that I can attach it at the end, and then I can tighten it up. Once the hot glue has completely cooled, I can flip my bag right side out. I'm using this little piece of drop cloth and I'm going to be stamping on the words Gingerbread Factory, and I'm using the IOD Apothecary stamps for this. I'm taking some embroidery floss and I'm just using, it's actually a yarn needle, but it worked fine for this, this weave on this drop cloth, and I'm just sewing a simple stitch all the way around. The only thing left to do is to hot glue this little tag onto the front of the bag. I thrifted this set of gingerbread people for $1.99, and I'm only going to be using the small one for this project. This is a wood burning tool that I got from Dollar Tree. It works pretty well. I'm trying to burn in some buttons for this gingerbread man. Once I get the buttons finished, I decided to add a little detail on his arms and legs. And then I added 2 small eyes. To bring out these details and to kind of look like icing, I'm using some white wax. This is Jolie's white wax, and I'm just rubbing that all over the top or the front and trying to get it down into those areas that I've burned. I also went along the edges as well. Thanks again for joining me. Be sure and check out our host channels in the description box below, along with the playlist for many more tiered tray ideas. I'm going to leave another video right here that I think you might like. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.